Trying to get comfortable, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to do this challenge that I saw, and it's singing a gospel, an old gospel. He's got the whole world in his hands. So if you want to join in with me, if you're a content creator, I challenge you to also do it. Singing is not something I feel comfortable in doing on YouTube. If I'm at karaoke, I've had to drink some wine, and so because of certain things, I just don't drink wine anymore. Trying to save those liver and them kidneys. Anyway, here we go. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the sisters and the brothers in his hands. He's got the sisters and the brothers in his hands. He's got the sisters and the brothers in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little bitty babies in his hands. He's got the little bitty babies in his hands. He's got the little bitty babies in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Now for my creators. He got Kyrie in his hands. He got Chris and Ty Cox in his hands. He got Natural Jackie in his hands. He got the whole world in his hands. Got Jackie Naturals in his hands. He's got Jackie Naturals in his hands. He's got Jackie Naturals in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got Spinning Winning Blaine in his hands. He's got Spinning Winning Blaine in his hands. He's got Spinning Winning Blaine in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hand. He got Motor Mouth Mukbang in his hands. He got Motor Mouth Mukbang in his hands. He got Deborah Mosley in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got I Gladden in his name. He got I Gladden in his hands. He got I Gladden in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got Carter Eats in his hand. He got Tommy Bites in his hands. He's got Motor Mouth Mukbang in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got Mukbang My Way in his hands. He's got Mukbang My Way in his hands. He's got Mukbang My Way in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got Keeping It Real with Jenny in his hands. He's got Keeping It Real with Jenny in his hands. He's got Keeping It Real with Jenny in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got God Loves Me in his hands. He's got God Loves Me in his hands. He's got God Loves Me in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got Mukbang Madness in his hands. He's got Sincerely Yours Nadia in his hands. He's got Sincerely Yours Nadia in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got La La in his hands. He's got La La in his hands. He's got La La in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He got Skin Fan All Day in his hands. He got Skins Fan All Day in his hands. He's got Skins Fan All Day in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got Kyrie in his hands. He's got Kyrie in his hands. He's got Kyrie in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got all of my subscribers. In his hands he's got all of my viewers. In his hands he's got all of my subscribers. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hand. And one more, Chris and Ty Cox. In his hand he got Jackie Naturals. In his hands he's got I Glidon. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Guys, you get the point. And I messed up, but that's okay. They know who they are. And you know who you are. You're a viewer, so he's got you. You're a subscriber, he's got you. He's got you in his hands. So don't let these times put so much fear in you, you run amok. Okay? Don't let it do that. He's got us. He's still on the throne. He's still on the throne. He sees what's going on. Something good is going to happen out of all this. He got B Loves Life. In his hand he got Nate and the family. In his hands he's got B Loves Life and family. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Fear not. He has not given us the spirit of fear. Like I said, something good is going to come out of this. One thing, people are together. They're staying with their families and they're having good quality time, and people are cooking with the family and sitting down eating with the family more. Even people are communicating with people over the telephone more, and that's a good thing. But watch. I'm believing in something spectacular and extraordinary that's going to happen. I don't know. That's just what I'm looking forward to. Something good. This was meant for evil. But God's going to turn it around for good. For those who trust and believe him. Don't fear. Do not be dismayed. And this too shall pass. So, I'm going to end it right there. Thank you for joining me. I challenge anyone that want to do that. You don't have to do it my way because I made up some stuff in there. But I just wanted to bring this to you just to, even if you laughed at me, you know, I had a good time doing this. And my fear kind of left me when I was doing this. I was a little nervous coming over here singing. But it left me, and I just thought about the words and that he has us in his hand. He's got me, guys. And if you don't want to accept it, if you don't believe, hey, that's on you, but he got me. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and have a good evening. That's it. Good night.